Hey everyone, how are you all doing today? I hope you guys are having a great day, and I hope this makes it even better because I said during Regicidal week I might make a video on Wednesday or Thursday if I had some free time, and would you look at that, I found some free time, and I'm super excited to bring you guys another story time, which makes it the third this week, so I hope you guys are happy about that too. Let's get into this. In game, you're going to be seeing me doing some agility laps at the Advanced Gnome Stronghold course because I have 27 for my daily challenge, so I have to do 27 laps in order to finish it. So that's what I'm going to be doing in game, and let's get into the story. Since it's almost Halloween time, I decided to bring up a Halloween story. Now, if you don't know what Halloween is, if you're not from the States and you don't celebrate Halloween over there, I'm not sure if any place doesn't celebrate Halloween. I'm not even sure if this is an actual holiday because this is celebrating nothing. You're just literally toilet papering houses and getting candy for free. I don't know what it symbolizes, but it makes everyone happy. So anyways, when it's Halloween, you'll go out and you'll trick or treat. And if you don't know what trick or treating is, basically, trick or treating is you go around from house to house, you knock on the door, you say trick or treat, and people give you candy for free. And you usually do when you're a young kid. You don't do it around my age because it's just creepy and it looks like you're trying to mooch off for some free candy. But anyways, during Halloween you dress up as whatever you want to be. That's the fun of Halloween. You get to dress up and be Scream, an elephant, a president, who cares? You get to be whatever you want, and you get to go get some free candy. What's the harm in that? It's a great holiday. So anyways, when I was younger, I would always go trick-or-treating, and I would always dress up as stupid stuff that my parents wanted me to dress up as, and I would just go around and get some free candy. But there comes a time when you're a certain age and you're allowed to trick-or-treat by yourself, or with your friends, and usually you go around 10 or 12 by yourself. Anytime before that, your parents take you, and they help you get candy, etc. So, when I was around 11 years old, I was able to trick-or-treat for my first time alone. And I didn't really want to trick-or-treat at all because I was just in a bad mood that day. I don't know why, but I remembered I was just not happy. I think it was because of my costume. I wanted to be some other kind of alien, and I got some stupid alien costume, and it was just retarded, and I was upset. But I grabbed my bucket and I went trick-or-treating by myself for the first time. Now, if your parents ever sent you out trick-or-treating and they went with you, you know that they don't really check your candy when you get home because they check when they put it in your basket that it's okay, and you go home and you can eat it and have a great time. But when you come home from trick-or-treating on your own, your parents want to check your whole basket of candy, make sure there's no poison stuff. I mean, I don't really know why people would poison candy and hurt little kids like that unless you're like a witch from the Blair Witch Project. I really don't know why anyone would poison candy and be that sadistic. But anyways, they always want to check your candy just to make sure that you can eat it, you won't get super cavities, you won't get killed from it, there's no open wrappers, there's nothing harmful in there. So they always want to check just for your safety, and let your parents do that. Don't get aggravated at them because they're doing that for your health and they're doing that for your safety, so let them do it. But anyways, I went trick-or-treating on my own for the first time. And it was an experience because I went around from house to house, I was getting candy, I was just going everywhere. I was literally running from house to house, I was having a blast. I got every piece of candy from every house in my neighborhood. It didn't matter where I went, I was running back and forth, making sure I got to every house before I had to go back in. And usually I was restricted to like one side of the block when I was a young kid when I had to go with my parents. But now that I'm alone, I just went from house to house to house and nothing was stopping me. I mean, you could have put a truck in front of me and I would have ran through the truck to get some candy because back in the day I had a very, very sweet tooth. And I still do. I've had a lot of cavities, but that's for another story. But I was a big, big, big candy eater. I'm a big junk food eater. And that's not very good, but it's not bad as well. It just isn't very good for your teeth and the dentist will love you. But anyways, I loved candy and I loved trick-or-treating, I loved chocolate, I loved whatever you can get that was junk food. But I was just going from house to house and destroying trick-or-treating. I was the head trick-or-treater of that Halloween. So anyways, I knock on one woman's door, and she opens the door and she's smoking. So immediately I was like, oh, this is gross, because I always didn't like the smell of smoke, and I never really liked smoking at all. And I saw this old lady open and she's smoking, and she is like, oh, what a cute alien, and she takes out her basket of candy and takes a piece of candy and puts it in my bucket. But when she did that, she dropped her lighter in my bucket. And I knew something else went in there, but I didn't do anything about it because I just wanted candy and I wanted to get out of there because she was smoking and blowing smoke into my face, and I didn't want to be in that kind of scenario, so I just left immediately. But I knew there was something weird in my bucket, so I just didn't really care about it, didn't think twice about it, and I didn't even touch it. I just continued to trick-or-treat. But later that night, after I went from house to house and got all the candy I possibly could, I think I filled up about 2 buckets or 2 bags worth. I don't know, I had a field day that time, and my dentist surely loved me that Halloween and that year. But anyways, I got home, and my mom wanted to check on my candy, and she always did that because she didn't want me to die, obviously. She wants to make sure I'm safe and healthy, etc. So she looked through all my candy, and she looked through all my buckets, and she got to the one bucket and saw the lighter. And she kind of screamed down, because I was upstairs, and she screamed down and was like, "Lee, what is this in your bucket?" That was my best mother impression, sorry. But she was like, "What's in your bucket? What is this? Why do you have a lighter?" And I didn't know what it really did. I just knew what a lighter was. I knew it made fire, but I never, like, played with any, or I did anything with them. I didn't ever have one, so I didn't know why it was there, and I didn't know how it got there. And she was like, "Why do you have this?" And I just went downstairs. I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "This lighter, what is this? Why do you have that?" And I said, "Oh, that must have been what the lady dropped into my bucket." She said, "What lady?" And I said, "Oh, on this street, in this house, I went to trick-or-treat, and she gave me a piece of candy, and she was smoking, and she dropped her lighter in there." And she was like, "Wow, that's so bad, that could have been terrible, you could have lit yourself on fire," all these extreme things that could never happen, she was saying, like, I could have ate a candy and lit it on fire and put it in my organs, and my organs would have exploded, and all these dramatic things like that would never ever ever happen. And I was just like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know." She's like, "Well, I'm not mad at you, I'm mad at the lady that, you know, is giving out candy to kids, and she's dropping lighters and smoking in their faces. That's not right. I don't want you to go trick-or-treating ever again alone, because I don't want this happening again. I don't want you getting lighters. I don't want people blowing smoke in your face." And I was like, "Mom, relax, come on, it's not that big of a deal. Don't worry, it's okay. I'm not smoking. I don't play with lighters. I'm not a bad kid. I was just getting candy and there was an accident." And she's like, "Okay, well, I hope you had fun." I was like, "Oh, I had a blast," and I had all this candy. I took my giant bowl upstairs. I was feasting on candy. I was getting cavities all in my mouth. It didn't matter. I just kept eating chocolate and stuff. And I would have a limit. I would eat a certain amount a day and then save it for the rest of the day and the next day and the next day and the next day. And I would save my candy for about a good 2 months, 3 months. But it was such a weird story because I've never went trick-or-treating alone, and especially on my first time, I got a lighter in my bucket. Like, that doesn't happen. You're not supposed to get that. Like, that's something odd that you really don't get during trick-or-treating. So, for any of you guys who went trick-or-treating alone, or you've ever went trick-or-treating before, and you got something weird in your bucket, or someone gave you something weird, maybe like an apple, or someone gave you raisins. I've had people give me raisins, which is just like, "This isn't candy, you bitch. Put candy in my bucket. Don't give me raisins. Don't give me an apple. If I wanted a fruit, I would go to the supermarket and buy a fruit. I'm here for candy. Give me a Snickers, a Reese's, a Crunch Bar. Give me something good. Don't give me that bullshit." I mean, I've gotten weird stuff like that, but have you gotten anything like a lighter or a cigarette, or someone put fireworks in your thing? I don't know. Tell me your stories below in the comments. If you've got a good Halloween story about trick-or-treating, let me know your funny stories. I would love to read them in the comments below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. I'm glad I got to bring you another video this week, just adding on to the Regicidal week and having fun with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Make sure when you go trick-or-treating this year that you don't get any lighters, and you don't light yourself on fire, and you don't get kidnapped. Always stay safe. Always go with your parents or your friends. Make sure you don't go alone because you don't want to get kidnapped or anything like that. You've heard the horror stories, but make sure you're always safe when you're doing that, because late at night you don't know who's out there. Everyone's in costumes. Be safe, be careful. Don't eat your height in candy and get cavities all over the place. That would be bad, and your dentist will give you a lot of fillings, and you do not want that, because that is not fun. So anyways, guys, be safe during Halloween. I hope you guys have a great time trick-or-treating, and don't forget to leave your comments below on what weird things you got during trick-or-treating. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Later, everyone.